Everybody, welcome back to the Caliber 8 Tools and DIY channel. Hope everybody's doing fine. Time marches on, guys. All right, we're almost to the end of 2025, and the advent of a new year is upon us. Man, like I always say, time flies. What have we done with our time? But anyway, guys, want to jump into the subject matter here. When I created this channel, it was various reasons why I created this channel. One was out of a necessity. I had a business, a physical products based business, and I didn't necessarily have the funds to run a bunch of ads, to these products, and I needed to get in front of people, and what better way to do it than to use the free platforms out there like YouTube and all the others, and I didn't intend on coming onto YouTube at all or any social media platform, but I would have been an idiot not to, given my situation at the time. So here we are. Okay, about close to over 4 years later, and I would say that I pride myself on it being more of an educational platform for me, an educational channel more than anything else. I'm not telling jokes or anything like that, or of course you got to add some level of entertainment into your content, to keep people watching. But at the end of the day, I'm really not concerned about that, because the real people that understand my mission and what I'm doing on YouTube, which is to educate the public, and really it's about community building as well, right? I have a lot of underlying motivations that make me come on every week and give you the content I do. And one of those motivations is building community, especially within my community, where I see a lot of lost young people. And I figure, hey, the trades tools can be one of the ways, not the only way, to get them out of the funk that they're in. I mean, you walk around and you see, even on social media, how lost some of our youth are. And somebody has to take the reins. And I decided to take the reins in my own way, based on my own experience and knowledge. And that's why we're here today. So enough of my commentary here. Let's dive into the topic. All right, 10 home improvement stocks to follow. Yes, guys. This is an educational channel about tools, all right? But I also want to have it be more of a holistic channel as well, right? A more holistic approach to home improvement, and not just knowing how to use the tools, right? But also understanding the economics behind it, okay? And that's why we're going to talk about, stocks to follow and all that stuff, right? By the way, I am not a financial advisor. I like to make that disclaimer right off the bat, okay? But I just want overall you guys to understand the importance of investing as well, rather than just buying stuff, right? Okay, and this is very important for lower income communities as well, to see investing as a path to generational wealth, right? Generational wealth has been stolen from us, right, in a lot of ways. And one of the ways to get it back is to invest. Now, it's a long-term strategy, but that's why you call it generational wealth, right? So let's talk about some of the different ways to make it in this system. Actually, there's only 3 ways, right? And I tell people this all the time. 3 ways to make it in a capitalist economy. Okay, you have to understand what kind of economy you live in, right? This is not a communist or socialist economy where everybody gets an equal share of the pie, regardless of how much work they put in. All right, this is not China. This is not Russia. This is not some other countries. This is a capitalist economy, and whether you like it or not, you have to fend for yourself. It is a survival of the fittest type of environment, and as a result of that, you will see more casualties out there. That's why you see the poverty stats, and you see very affluent individuals. Well, what are these? And then you have the in between, right? Which is, they say, is shrinking, and it's really no more. There's only the poor and the rich, right? So what if you want to survive, right? Just like if you're in the ocean, right, and you have to fight for your life. If you're dumped overboard, you got to know how to swim, or you got to build a boat, right? Otherwise, you're gonna be paddling and dog paddling, and you're gonna get tired after a while, right? You may learn how to float and all that, but what if the waves are so rough that floating doesn't even make sense? It'll just take you under. So you have to figure out different ways to survive in that rough ocean. Now, I liken that rough ocean to a capitalist economy, right? With all the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of this economy, you need to be able to know how to survive, okay? And the three ways to survive in this economy is either you're investing, okay? Investing in what? You can either invest in stocks, you can invest in bonds, mutual funds, all this stuff you hear about. Real estate is another one. And by the way, I'm gonna try to integrate more real estate content into the channel because I think it's a good fit. You guys tell me if it's a good fit or not to integrate more real estate content into the channel. Now, it won't be a lot of it, right? But just to sprinkle, because I want to give you guys on this one channel instead of starting another channel, right? I want to give you. I feel that it's a good fit to integrate some ancillary industries, right, around what this channel is all about, which is tools and home improvement. So I think real estate fits, in my opinion. Okay, and when you're talking about finances and all that, that's universal. I think you can incorporate that into any talk, any lecture on any subject matter. So yeah, we're gonna be sprinkling that in, and this live is one of the ways I'm doing that tonight. So investing, right, guys? You just don't want to work and not invest. That's when the days of the pension and all that's gone. So now they have the 401k, but you got to wait till you're like I don't know, retirement age to even take it out and really enjoy the fruits of that. So why that's okay if you're conditioned to do that, but either way, guys, it's all about investing. Okay, you got to invest into something. Like I said, it can be stocks, it can be bonds, it can be mutual funds, different financial instruments you can invest in. You can invest in real estate. Like I said, again, that's you buy a piece of property, you rent it out, or just another way to generate income. And this whole concept of passive income, I want you guys to just exile that from your mind. Nothing's really passive, right? Some people say, well, you're on YouTube and you're making passive income. No, I have to put in work here. This is labor. A lot of people don't understand that even content creation is a full-time job. You know what I mean? It can be a full-time job. It does take time if you're trying to put out quality content, okay? And even if it's not quality, you're still, and that can be subjective, you're still putting out your time, okay? The good thing about it, though, is once you create a product, because every video that you watch on YouTube, you just consider that a digital product that's on a platform, just like a store would be in a mall. That mall is the platform that the businesses or stores are in, right? Well, it's the same thing in a digital sense. You have videos and podcasts and this and that hosted on platforms, and those it's the same thing. It's just in the digital world. So when you create a video or something like that, it is a digital. I consider them digital products that can go out into the world. You create it one time and it can generate revenue for you, right? There's different ways to do that, right? And all the platforms follow the same model. Okay, so investing. Let's get back on it. Okay. Let's talk about another developing high income skills. High income skills is another way to survive this economy, right? Because we see what's happening today in the world as far as tech and how it's just blown up with AI and all these other things. It's going to displace a lot of individuals with low income skills. Okay, those people are going to be left out in the cold because you have technology now that's going to be able to replace them. So it would behoove all of us and to at least teach our kids, the new generation coming up, to acquire a high income skill, and that can be in any industry. That can be in the trades, that can be in tech. It can be in the medical field. It doesn't matter. But getting a high income skill is very important, right? And if you don't tell your kids that, because you may think it's too late for you, but it's really never too late. But if you don't tell your children that, I think you're doing them a disservice. All right. And the other option is to become an entrepreneur, right? And that word is thrown around a lot, because it sounds good. Everybody's an entrepreneur, and and all that. But then there's the real entrepreneurs, right? People that are putting in work and going through the ups and downs instead of just talking about a idea they have in their head. Having an idea does not make you an entrepreneur. Putting skin in the game, right? Shelling your money out, investing your own money, your own time, losing money, okay? Because making some big, sometimes very big mistakes, financial mistakes, and learning how to recoup from those mistakes and still stay on the path and not give up. I consider that an entrepreneur, okay? Because you're a risk taker, and you sustain a lot of blows, but you still get out there and you try this idea, you try that idea, and you still keep going, okay? That's a real entrepreneur. So if you have the stomach for that, then it's for you. The rewards are great, the risk is high, but that's how it's always been, okay? So let's tie that into the whole 10 home improvement stocks that was the title of this live. Okay, let's go here. All right. Okay, guys, what do you think? What comes to mind when it comes to a stock? A home improvement stock that, even if you're not an investor at all, you know nothing about investing, you may have heard, oh yeah, well, I just buy a stock in this and then it grows over time, blah, blah, blah. Who comes to mind, right? It's going to be somebody like Home Depot or Lowe's, or guess what, even Walmart. Now, Walmart is not a dedicated home improvement store, but they do have home improvement items in there, so that's why they're included in this list. Target as well. And I know maybe to some of you, the corporate world and the political world sometimes they collide, and some people may even say that they're both one and the same. And some of these companies that I mentioned, like Walmart or Target, who they may represent to you somebody on the other side of the aisle that you may not even want to associate with. But this live is not about a political debate on who you should choose and why or who you shouldn't. It's about just putting out information, and you make your own choices from there, right? Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor once again, but the ultimate principle here is that you need to invest in something, okay? Whether it's your own business, whether it's some kind of stock, bond, or mutual fund, or some company, you need to invest in something, right? Because it's not, like I said, it's not just about working. You have to have your money working alongside you. And then when you no longer want to work, your money is still working. But you've started it now. You started the process now. And you've got the ball rolling. You've got the momentum going early on. And I really want to stress this to young people, right? You want to start now. Okay, you want to start putting your money in something right now at the age of 18, 19, 20. This is what the wealthy people teach their kids. Okay, they don't teach them, hey, look, go get a job. I know I talk a lot about the trades and all that stuff, because I think it's very important as far as infrastructure, and everything is the foundation upon which all levels of society are built, right? The trades, period, right? And I'll always be the number one. I don't want the number one person to really push that, okay? But they're not telling their kids go be a plumber, to be honest with you, right? And if they are, they're telling them to do it. They're telling them to invest as well, right, with whatever money they make. And that's what I want you guys to do, right? I don't want to just come on here and say, oh yeah, you should be a plumber, you should be a trucker, you should be a electrician and all that, and work yourself to death. because you didn't have any financial literacy going on, right? They go hand in hand, right? And that's what's going to make you comfortable at the end, at the closing days of your life, and it's going to give you something to leave your family. That's, like I said, that's what's called generational wealth. So you have to be thinking about this as you build your business, as you work in whatever trade that is. You need to, and even if you're, just a DIYer, or somebody who's a home improvement enthusiast, you're buying products all day from these places. Why not own stock in them? Why not be an owner? Because once you buy stock in a company, you become part owner. I don't care if it's 5%, 2%, whatever. You are now an owner, not just a consumer. And one of the problems with this capitalist system is that it produces a population of consumers, and that's all they do is consume. And unfortunately, capitalism, they need consumers, right? You need consumers, but you just don't want to have just consumers, because what that does is it creates that wealth gap that we talk about all the time. You have to be owners as well, right? You have to be participating in the ownership class. And if you don't do that, then you will suffer later. We all know how it feels to be broke and have no money at the end, of maybe the month, right? What if we didn't save our money, if we didn't invest in something to make us money? Guess what? We're back on that hamster wheel again. So, like if you're gonna buy like a popular product, right? Like if you like Jordans, for instance, shoes, right? And you hear that all the time. Oh, I got to get my Jordans, this, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Nike or whoever, Michael Jordan, he's laughing all the way to the bank, right? Well, why don't you own stock in the Jordan brand? I think it's publicly traded because Nike is publicly traded. I don't really wear all that stuff, but you want to become more. That's the whole point of financial literacy, and this is what our kids are missing today, especially in the inner city, and that's by design. Capitalism wants to produce a class of ignorant people, right? And I don't mean that in a negative, like a judgmental way, but ignorant of the ways to wealth, right? You have to understand, especially in the African American community, our wealth was stripped from us. I can't tell you how many towns and cities that we built up in this country that were prospering cities. I live in Los Angeles, California. The LAX airport was built on top of a prospering African American town and city. Okay, that was leveled, I think, because they use eminent domain, a legal way to destroy let me see here, a legal way they made up to come and destroy communities that they did not like. That happened all over the country. LAX, and you guys can name a bunch of companies, cities. I've done it before. Santa Monica, Santa Monica, that was once a bustling African American community. A lot of you people don't know that, right? And but you walk, you have these thoughts in your head that we never did anything, we never built anything. Well, we did. We were building generational wealth, and it was destroyed. Okay, but that's a whole another conversation. My goal is to kind of reinvigorate our minds to start thinking like that again, building our own, investing in our own, and once again, getting us back to the times where we had our own. And I want you to have your own as well, and not be left out in the cold at the end of your life or later in life because you did not invest, right? So, okay, so Home Depot, right? It's one of the largest home improvement retailers. I think it is. Okay. Then you have Lowe's as well. You can invest in Lowe's, the competitor of Home Depot, second largest. I talked about Walmart and Target, right? Those are what they call large cap retailers. Okay. So, because they're on the top of the list, they're moving a lot more volume in terms of dollars than anybody else. But then you have specialized brands as well that you can invest in. You have the Sherwin-Williams company, for example. Okay. let's see what they say. They're a leader in the paint and coatings industry, right? They're known for paint. And I guess they're publicly traded as well. Then you have A.O. Smith Corporation. This water technology company is the largest manufacturer of water heaters in North America. Now, water heaters are not going out of style, guys. All right, whether it's old style water heater or a tankless water heater, I'm sure they have all those as well. That's not going out of style. People are going to want to stay warm. Okay, so that's what you call recession-proof investments. Okay. Floor and Decor. This company specializes in hard surface flooring, providing both a distinct niche and a growth opportunity within the home improvement market. Yeah, I used to go to Floor and Decor. They got some really nice marble, different stone type of materials in there for flooring. It's just to walk around and look at them. It's just I like to do that. It's been a minute since I've been in one, but yeah. Okay, Masco Corporation. Who are they, right? You never heard of them. A diversified manufacturer of home improvement and building products. Masco, that's MASCO, produces everything from faucets to insulation. Its brand recognition and wide product portfolio make it a notable player. Okay, so there you go on that. Then, guys, let's not forget, that's already eight companies I just listed out of the 10. Okay, guys, so if you were listening, go back and listen to the live again, write them down, go check them out, do your own research. But you also have the online side of things, right? You got companies that don't even have a physical base of operations. They may have a physical base of operations, but they're more of an e-commerce brand. They're online. They sell their products online. Wayfair, I'm sure you guys know about Wayfair, right? You've gotten the catalogs and stuff like that. They specialize in home furnishings and decor, and it says they capture the online consumer spending trend in the sector. So yeah, they're a big deal as well. They've been around for a while. And then you have a no name, like you never heard of Arhaus, ARHAUS. Okay, they're also another home furnishings retailer, and they're growing. So I guess they would be number 2 up under Wayfair, which would be number 1 as far as in the online space in that field there, or that world of home furnishings. Okay, so yeah, guys, you have these some physical assets, and you have a couple of online assets out there that you can invest into, as in the home improvement space that can pay dividends to you years down the line, right? And like I said, I'm not talking about day trading here, where you're waking up 8 o'clock or whenever the market opens on Wall Street every morning, and you're putting in your bids there. I'm talking about long-term investments. Okay, nothing wrong with day trading. Okay, some people, you get good at it. Some people become very wealthy in a short amount of time. I mean, once they get it down. But I'm talking about, like, hey, look, you got to go to work. You don't have time to study day trading, right? Because you got a job, you got a family to feed, right? Of course, if you're serious, you'll make time. But what you can do, even as a young person, is take some of your dollars of what you make on your job and go buy stock in something, right? I don't care if it's Apple, if it's Nvidia, it's a lot of these popular stocks here. No, you don't necessarily have to like the politics of these companies, because we know that there's that's a whole other conversation there. But if you can secure your foot in the door, right, by acquiring ownership of some of these companies, that can really set you up in the future to really do your own thing later. Okay, because once again, I always preach self-sufficiency, right? Not having to depend on a job, right? Especially in your later years. It's a sad thing to see someone in their 50s and 60s and, sometimes 70s being a greeter at Walmart. Now, I mean, out of necessity. Maybe you want to be, maybe you don't have to do it, but you like people and you want to be a greeter. But there's a large part of our population here that that are in that age range that have to do it just to pay the bills. The Social Security is not enough, right? The medical bills are piling up, right? So you have to start now to creating some kind of wealth for yourself, whether it's investing in a business, in the market, or investing in real estate or something like that. Those three things, guys, I would definitely look into right now. Don't sleep on it, okay? Don't say, "Oh, I'm too busy for that," and because that excuse is that I'm too busy for it. That's the trick of that's one of the trick. That's the trick of what they say the devil, if you want to use that term. All right, thinking that you have time. You do not have time. You do not have time. Okay. So anyway, guys, that's it for tonight. 10 home improvement stocks to follow. Check it out. I'm sure they got a lot more that you could look into. The whole point of this is to get you in the mindset of investing, not just working. Okay. Not just learning a skill to make money and waste that money on frivolous things. Right. Part of that income that you're earning has to be put aside so it can grow into something, not just in a savings account, not just sitting there, but actually growing for you. And that's the whole point, guys. Okay. So anyway, if you learned something from this, by the way, guys, if you want to support, go to calibrate.com. You see it on the ticker at the bottom of the screen right there. That's the way to support. I don't really ask for donations on anything. Maybe I should start doing that. But if you really want to support, just go and check out the products we have at calibrate.com. And, the holidays are coming up. They got some good gift items on there. And would really appreciate you guys checking it out. So thank you guys for coming on in. Let me see who's in there. Okay. I appreciate you and take it easy.